Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Today we're continuing with Bikurim and Perek Gimel, Mishnayos Gimel and Dal. Mishnah Gimel says, "Hakrovim mevim ateinim ba'anovim." It's talking about the procession of bringing Bikurim from wherever you live in Israel to Yerushalayim. If you live close to Yerushalayim, so you can bring um, moist figs and grapes, not dried ones. Arachokim mevim grogos smukim. People are far away. By the time they get to Jerusalem, with the light rail, with the rakevet from Tel Aviv. Joking, they didn't have a rakevet from Tel Aviv. It would take a couple of days, and therefore they had grapes that would dry out, or they had figs that would dry out. So you bring dried out grapes or figs that will last longer. V'ashor holich lifneihem. You're supposed to bring an animal, which you're going to bring a makav as a korban, accompanies you on your journey to Jerusalem. A karnam mitzubot zav. You're supposed to coat the horns of your cow or sheep or a goat with gold. Heder mitzvah. You're supposed to mahad the mitzvah. Atar shel zayis barosho. You make a crown made out of fig olive branches from its head for shalom, for peace. Achalil maka lifneim. The flute plays in front of them. Until they get close to Yerushalayim. Once they get close to Yerushalayim, shalchu lifneim, they send their emissaries to tell the Kohanim, hey, we're bringing Bikurim. Ve'etret Bikureim, they would arrange their Bikurim in a nice way, meaning they would, if they had some figs that were dried out and some figs that were moist, they would put the moist ones on top. Or if they were all moist, they'd put the better looking ones on top. The pachos are the deputy Kohanim, Hasaganim, the deputy Levim, Hagizbarim. People are in charge of the money in the base. And the cross time, they would go out to greet them. If there are more people coming, so more people would go out to greet them. All people in Yerushalayim who were involved in their malacha and their craft, they would stand in front of them, and we'll see in Ian Mitzion, they would actually give up their places where they worked for these people to stay. I'm going to explain that. They ask them how they're doing. And they say to them, you from such a place, from Nazareth, from what is the place called? You come from the north, from the Galil, from Tiberia, Basam l'shalom, you came in peace. The flute played the entire time, even after they got to Yerushalayim, until they get up to Harabayas, the temple mount. Even the king of Israel, Garipas, he would take the basket on his shoulder and go until he gets to the Azara, where the Kohanim were supposed to give it to the Kohanim. Israel is not supposed to go into the Azara, he gives it to the Kohanim. Because it says in the pasuk, it has to really come from your hand. The person who's bringing Bikurim has to physically give over the Bikurim to the Kohen. Once they got to the Azara, the Levim started singing. They would sing this pasuk from Tehillim: Hashem has raised me up and hasn't let my enemies prevail over me. Why this pasuk, I'm not really sure, but that's the conclusion of today's shir. Stay tuned for Ian Mitzion, where I have a revolutionary pshat in the mitzvah of Kima, standing up for Talmid Chacham, standing up for Kibbut Aim. It comes into play in this Mishnah over here, where the people that do malacha, even though normally a person who's doing malacha doesn't have to stand up for Talmid Chacham, in this instance, they do have to stand up for the people that don't say the mitzvah, because it's a special mitzvah that happens rarely. Chaviva mitzvah b'shaita. Same thing for a baby that's having a bris milah, and same thing when a person is being buried, he's supposed to stand up. What does standing up mean? Just stand up to show honor? Or kima, the idea of kima for an elderly person, for a parent, for a Talmid Chacham, what exactly does that mean? I will tell you in Yom Tzion coming up next.